Hi, my loves. This is a soft message, but it's not a quiet one. Spirit came through with clarity, compassion, and the kind of truth that doesn't ask for permission, it just arrives. These cards weren't chosen at random. They were guided into my hands because someone somewhere needed to hear this today. And who knows, maybe it's you. But as always, please trust your intuition. Take only what resonates and let the rest be a whisper carried away by the wind. Let's get started. Spirit, what emotional or energetic truth is surfacing in the collective right now? We received they fell in love with the flame, even in the chaos. Still, I stayed. And yes, the truth surfacing right now is that many of us have mistaken intensity for intimacy. We've poured our light into people who were never ready to hold it, mistaking their awe for their devotion, their chase for care. They fell in love with the flame, but not with the fire keeper. We've stayed, even in the chaos, even in the confusion, because some part of us thought that love meant endurance. But Spirit is saying yes. Yes, you see it clearly now. Yes, you're allowed to honor the chaos and outgrow it. This emotional truth doesn't just ask us to regret the staying, it's asking us to remember who we were when we stayed and why that version of us also deserves love. Together, they're letting us know that the collective is waking up to patterns of self abandonment that were masked as loyalty, and we're beginning to say yes to ourselves instead. Spirit, what are you gently revealing about the wounds that we're still carrying? We received, if only you knew, it was always meant to be, and happy on purpose. There's a quiet grief in the collective, the ache of not being seen clearly while we were still bleeding. If only you knew echoes a time that we suffered silently, when we hoped someone, anyone, would understand without us having to explain. But Spirit is gently reminding us this path, however heavy, was always meant to be. We're not being punished, we're being purified, and we're learning to choose joy not because life is perfect, but because being happy on purpose is a radical, sovereign act. You're allowed to create joy even while you're still healing. Together, they're telling us that Spirit is illuminating the tender truth that our unspoken pain shaped us, but joy is still available and it's still sacred. Spirit, what is trying to be born or reawakened in us right now? We received, I am the good thing. Enough was never the point. And stop clinging, it's going to happen. Something unshakable is trying to rise. Not a version of us that needs to prove, perform, or please, but the one who simply is. The card, I am the good thing, doesn't whisper, it declares. We are no longer waiting to be chosen to believe we are worthy. And Spirit is reminding us enough was never the point because you were never here to be measured. You were here to be miraculous. Stop clinging, it's going to happen, isn't a warning, it's a mercy. Let what's meant to come unfold, and let who you are becoming arrive on their own terms. Together, they're telling us that what's rising now is self worth that doesn't need proof, just space to bloom. Spirit, what wisdom do you want us to reclaim that we may have forgotten about? We received peace in the pattern, and joy is allowed here. The wisdom returning to us is simple, and that's what makes it revolutionary. Peace is not punishment. Joy is not a trap. We've been taught to brace ourselves when life gets calm, as if suffering is more trustworthy. But peace in the pattern reminds us that harmony is not a lie, it's a sign of alignment. And joy is allowed here means exactly what it says. We don't need to earn rest. We don't need to apologize for being happy. We're not here just to survive. We're here to receive. With these cards, Spirit is calling us to remember that peace isn't the pause before the next storm. It's the reward for having weathered so many. Spirit, what are you asking us to release with grace? We received settled for safe, stayed lonely. What if they felt it too? And branded by desire. Let it go, the comfort that cost you your connection to yourself. Settled for safe, stayed lonely, speaks to the versions of us that choose familiarity over fulfillment. Spirit is asking us to release the idea that if they felt it too, we should wait for them to say so. We don't need confirmation to validate our intuition. And branded by desire is a soft confrontation. What you want isn't wrong, but you don't need to dim down your desire for the sake of someone else's discomfort. Wanting more doesn't make you ungrateful, it makes you alive. With these cards, we're being asked to let go of false safety, unlived longings, and the waiting game. What's yours is waiting on the other side of release. Spirit, what kind of love or support is surrounding us, even if we can't see it yet? We received Let the Good Stay, and this isn't the end. You are more held than you know. Love is not gone, it's evolving. Let the good stay is Spirit's way of reminding you that not everything has to be a test. Some things are allowed to be soft, good, and lasting. And this isn't the end, is your reassurance. Whatever feels like it's fading might only be shifting. Whatever feels uncertain might actually just be beginning. Trust that what's good now can keep being good and let yourself receive it. Together, they're letting us know that the support around us is quiet, but it's constant. Let yourself believe in the good, then let it stay. Spirit, what is your final message for the collective? We received maybe, the ghost of what didn't happen. The knowing came quietly, and I owe you nothing. You're not broken because it didn't work out the way you dreamed. You're not late because it didn't arrive on time. Some of us are haunted by timelines that never fully bloomed, the ghost of what didn't happen. But maybe it's a sacred space. It's where miracles begin. The knowing came quietly speaks to the subtle wisdom that's been guiding you all along. And I owe you nothing is your spiritual permission slip. You don't owe an explanation for how you heal, grow, or bloom. You don't have to make sense to anyone but your soul. With all of these cards, Spirit is saying that you were never too much, never asking for the impossible, never meant to settle for fragments when your soul came here for wholeness. There's been a lot of survival energy in the collective, staying in chaos out of loyalty, or shrinking your desires to make others comfortable, while carrying pain in silence because no one ever taught us how to put it down. But this reading was Spirit's gentle and loving way of handing us a permission slip that we forgot we needed. Permission to want more, permission to walk away from half hearted love, permission to be soft and sovereign at the same time, and permission to let joy stay when it finally arrives. The cards remind us that just because someone didn't choose us, it doesn't mean that we're not deeply and wildly worthy. Just because something didn't happen the way we imagined doesn't mean it won't happen even better. Peace is not suspicious. Love is not supposed to hurt. And you don't owe anyone a watered down version of who you are just to keep the peace. There's a pattern being rewritten in the collective. We're learning to choose ourselves on purpose, with clarity, with softness, and with that quiet knowing that we were always the good thing, even before anyone else could see it. Let this be the week that we stop asking permission to bloom. Thank you so much for watching, for holding space, and for letting me use my deck with you again. It still feels a little surreal that I created this, and I'm honestly just so curious to see how it lands with you all. Please leave your thoughts, your insights, or anything that resonated in the comments. I genuinely read every single one, and I love hearing how the messages hit for you. This deck is still becoming, just like all of us, and sharing it with you makes the process feel even more sacred. I love you, I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one.